spots on it. Set, 1400, thanks Alex. And they're racing from the 1400. Lucky 88 drops back under riding at the start. And the first one out was Strut Your Stuff, quickly joined by the Persian God with the blinkers on, has raced through it on the inside. Western Splendor couldn't get in, got caught out wider. Winter Blooms in the centre. Lucky 88 has gathered speed on the inside. And then came Non-Reflective, Lake Bakel. Well back in the field is Head and Shoulders, pushed along, given a slap there. And last of all is God's Hammer, who's down on the inside for CJP. Coming off the back, and Persian God is showing the way. Does it pretty well too for Carberry, and leads Western Splendor, and third is Winter Bloom. Fourth over on the outside is Strut Your Stuff, and then came Lucky 88, who's keen on the fence. Non-Reflective being urged along to try and pick up, and well back in the field, Lake Bakel. Second last on the outside is Head and Shoulders, and last and travelling well is God's Hammer, but still about 10 off the leader, and it's going boldly at the moment. Persian God, led by 2 lengths as they come around the home turn. In second place is Western Splendor. Winter Blooms pumped along, looked to be beaten on the corner, and then Strut Your Stuff, and now Non-Reflective gets to the outside. God's Hammer as well is starting to really produce down the centre, and further back in the field is Head and Shoulders. God's Hammer's coming with a big run wide out, but Persian God still got the break. God's Hammer finishing nicely, then Western Splendor. Persian God's in front, though he's got them beaten. God's Hammer, Western Splendor, they're both trying hard, but Persian God does it all the way. Persian God beat Western Splendor, a nose away third, God's Hammer, and 2 lengths to Lucky 88, a good run for the future. Further back in the field was Head and Shoulders, and they'll followed by Lake Bakel. Well back in the field was Strut Your Stuff. Winter Bloom and Non-Reflective didn't put in at all, and has finished at the back of the field. Number 4 is the winner here. The blinkers went on. Different horse out in front. Has been Green trying to come from behind. But today it had them beaten a fair way out. Dashed away around the corner. I thought Western Splendor on the inside would just run second in front of God's Hammer. But it's pretty tight because God's Hammer did get a bob in on the line. But Western Splendor, I think, will get it. Just looking at the freeze frame. And nose in front of God's Hammer. Had it been a stride earlier, God's Hammer probably runs second. But right on the line, Western Splendor has got its head down. The winner, the Persian God, is by Tagaloa out of Persian Princess, and trained by Mitchell Pateman in great form, and Paddy Carberry sent it straight to the front. Second horse has run well, got caught out 3 wide when it tried to push forward early, eased back a little bit, came at the leader, coming to the bend, but the leader had skipped right away. And then probably the best run in the race was God's Hammer, who was the only horse to make ground from the back of the field down the middle, as we wait on this photo for second and third. So we'll take it downstairs after the running of race number 1.
Thanks, Rich. The Persian God leading all the way to take out race 1 of 8 here at Belmont Park on Blue Spec Stakes Day. And what a ride it was from Paddy Carberry. He didn't jump the best, but you could see that that was clearly a pre-race plan to really rouse him out of the barriers and get him to the front with the blinkers being applied. He always raced that fraction keen in running, but didn't he travel well? He gave an almighty kick at the top of the straight, Matty. He had the horses in second and third beat from a long way out, and from there it was just a matter of whether a horse from the second half of the field was able to reel him in, and they clearly weren't.
Yeah, I think he was going to be running out of petrol tickets at the 100-metre mark, but he just was able to find there nicely. And we saw last start, Lockie, with this gallop. He was laying in badly, so badly to the fact that he had actually to stop riding him, Paddy, that day. So from there today, no issues going back to the fence.
A nice way to start the day for Mitch Pateman as he joins you now. Mitch, congratulations on the win. The Persian God, the blinkers go on today and clearly does the trick.
Yeah, they, you know, a lot of credit to PD. Wanted to give him another run. I was keen to tip him out after his last start, but we galloped him in the blinkers last Saturday, and he worked with Big Red Zoom, and he worked better than him. So I thought he'd be pretty hard to beat after he won Thursday.
Were you always confident and hopeful that he'd be able to find the front with the blinkers going on? It looked like Paddy really was intent on finding the front in the early stages.
I wasn't confident. I said to Pat I'd love him to, but the way he'd begun his first 2, you probably couldn't think that was going to happen. Once he begun on terms and Pat gave him a dig and he found the front, I thought, geez, he's going to be hard to run down now, because he's worst trait's been wanting to hang in, and he only does it because he gets horses around him and he doesn't like it. So I thought once he's out in front with the blinkers on, like sectionally, he can reel off some seriously good sectionals, so I thought he's going to be hard to run down.
3 runs now for the campaign. Is he due to the paddock now, and can he be a horse that plays some nicer races in the back end of the year?
He'll definitely go the paddock, up to Pete and the owners whether they want to bring him back for them races. Yeah, I think he could measure up for sure. That was a good win today because he probably got a bit keen between the half mile and the 4, so he was probably entitled to get run down and he didn't.
Bosun and Heavenly Rapture, you're well represented in race number 5. Bosun, is he forward enough to win here this afternoon off around 60 days?
Yeah, definitely. He didn't have long off, just freshened him for this race. He's fit. That won't be an excuse, so hopefully he can get the job done.
We all know your brother's in the ownership. How's he been throughout the course of today?
He tells me he needs a sleep because he didn't sleep all night, so I think that tells you how Josh is. But no, I think the horse is in really good order, and if he gets even luck, he'll run well.
Go give your brother a cuddle. Good way to start the day.
No thanks.
There's Mitch Bateman after the win of the Persian God, and as you said, Matty, he's always shown plenty of ability, whether he's been just doing a few things wrong in running or up the home straight, but he's clearly had a motor underneath him all throughout his career, and with the benefit of the blinkers going on and a positive Pat Carberry ride, that was the key to success here this afternoon.
It was the key to success, and he's still doing things wrong. I think that's the really positive part that we can take away from this run as well. He was really racing keen there from about 1,000 metres all the way through to 400, but he had the rest of them off and chasing for quite some time. So if he can just learn to relax, learn to settle. Remember, that was the very first time with blinkers today, so he'll only improve off that run. Sounds like from your interview just then, like that he's going to go in, have a little bit of a break as well.
Exactly right, and whether he plays a race like a Faritha and a WA Guineas later on in the year time, we'll only tell. But a nice way to break maiden status for the Persian God. Pat Carberry just weighs in and makes things official, and here he is catching up with Matty French.
Thanks, Lockie. Here with Paddy Carberry. Paddy, straight to the lead. Always the plan there, or what?
Probably about plan D, but I always wanted him to be positive, but he's never stepped that well at all. He was obviously supposed to race at Bunbury earlier in the week, but when I worked him on Wednesday, because he was coming out of Bunbury's meeting, he worked with the blinkers on only on his own, but he was a lot more switched on. He's a very quiet horse, but he's very, very timid, which is sort of surprised a bit. Even going to the barriers, he was wanting to sort of duck away from even the cars on the infield. He's just a bit of a sook that way, but hopefully he gets out of that. But he ran well. He over-travelled a bit in the middle stages, but I guess first time under race conditions with the blinkers on. But he done a good job to hold on. He was running on empty the last bit, but as I say, if I was able to sort of rate him a bit better, but he's just sort of running a bit on fear with the blinkers on. But without them, obviously, he's a different horse.
Still got a bit to learn, so that's the exciting part behind this galloper. Now to take your attention out of Lillian in the blue spec. What's your thoughts there? Looking forward to this one?
We've never sat on her before, but obviously she's building a good record. Drops a lot in weight, and obviously the stable's going well. So yeah, hopefully she can repeat what she done last start.
All the best, congrats.
Thanks, cheers.
There's Paddy Carberry. He kickstart the day on a winning note, combining with Mitch Bateman and the Persian God, leading all the way to take out the Lawn Pride Australia plate.